depression, happiness, incidence of divorce. Maybe all of that comes together as pair bonding. Who knows? But to be fair, I was run up the flagpole for not having my stats in a 30-second video. So, but I was detail oriented enough to do a screen cap of when she was talking about. I went and I looked at this study right here about pair bonding, and pair bonding is bullshit. So your whole argument is bullshit. Really? Okay. Non sequitur does not follow. Everything that we were talking about just up to this point with the stats that we've just put out there, if you're going to say, oh, that doesn't matter because you guys were talking about pair bonding to begin with. No, we weren't.
Exactly.
Okay.
The deflection is strong.
So it's a reframe because she doesn't know what she has she has no data to say anything else. But I did look this up. So I'm looking at I'm like, where the hell did she get this stuff? Right. And she says the study and I blew this up. I've got it right here just so you guys can see that this is what I'm reading from her screen cap here. It says the study demonstrates.
Can we pull that up on screen right now?
Well, I don't know if you can because I didn't give it to. Anyways, that's the.
Yeah, if you put it on Telegram, Chris can get it.
All right, I'll push it over there and just. It's easier if I just read it.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, the study demonstrates, and this is from her video. The study demonstrates mathematically how that the most commonly proposed theories for the transition to human pair bonding are not biologically feasible. Oh, who's saying this? Where's this study? I have there's no link, there's no reference. She doesn't say, oh, I read this study and here it is in the background. Okay, well, if you're going to come at me and say, I don't have any fucking data, then it's incumbent upon you to at least put that in the links or your comments or whatever the hell it is. Because if you're going to quote that and say, this is the fucking gospel truth, I want to see what you're quoting.
Yeah.
You want to see what I'm quoting? We just gave it to you. There's the IFF studies and we just gave you the Atlantic. I got dozens more on top of that. We're giving you the hard data.
Yep.
Okay. You want to have this? You want to come at me and say, oh, he's got a greasy ponytail. Great. Fine. But if you're going to come at me, come correct.
Yeah.
And that's why we're doing what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Okay. You better come correct. Because if you don't come correct, I'm going to own your ass just like I'm about to right here. Okay. So, however, the study advances a new model showing the transition to pair bonding can occur when female choice and faithfulness, among other factors, don't know what those are included. The result is an increased emphasis on provisioning females over male competition for mating. And that's about the best I can read of this thing. Where did this come from? Where's your data set? Show your fucking work. Where is it? I don't see it. Because you're going to come at me and say, oh, there's no studies. And your 6.6 million TikTok followers are going to take your word as gospel in between every, 12-year-old giggle, right? Okay, fine. But show me your work. You say, I don't cite sources. Where's your sources? Yeah. Because this looks like bullshit.
They can't, man.
I feel like this is bullshit.
And the thing is that, and that's why I wanted to play that video for you guys. Like, I just want you guys to understand, in the face of irrefutable fact or statistics or whatever it is, this is a common tactic. You look like a fucking music teacher. You got a greasy ponytail. Ad hominem attack followed by some kind of reframe or deflection or whatever it is. This is the world that we're in now, guys. Like, when you mention or cite statistics or data that puts women in an unfavorable light, almost always an ad hominem attack is going to come at you, and then some kind of reframe or deflection of what your argument is. They never attack the argument. They always attack the person.
Or they try to tell you that this is your argument.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what you're really. So what you're saying is.
Yeah.
That's essentially what that is.
So what the hell is this thing that she was trying to cite here?
Well, article? I don't know what article it is. We have no link. I can't actually go to it and see what the hell they were saying. Right. So that's number one.
And she tries to define pair bonding like, oh, well, this is not the argument because this is what pair bonding is, when you never even mentioned pair bonding in your video.
So, my reference for pair bonding comes from a book called Promiscuity by Dr. Tim Burkhead. If you really, that is a fantastic book. It's kind of, if you really want to if you're like a science wonk about all this kind of stuff, that's a really great book. When he talks about pair bonding, it's usually from like the animal kingdom, right? True monogamous pairing between animals is very, very rare in animal kingdom. Like I said, there's only like a species of field mice or something like that that actually mate for life and pair bond for life. Okay. So we can't really use those terms in reference to like how do human beings form lifelong bonds of intimacy and reproduction and yada, yada. Okay. So we're using sort of etymological terms for for human beings. It's the same thing with alpha. Like when people came at me for alpha, they kept saying, well, there's no, you guys think you're silverback gorillas. You guys think you're wolves on the Arctic tundra. And the guy who came up with alpha for those wolves, he even debunked it himself. And it's like, that's not what we're using the term for.
Yeah.
So we're using alpha as an abstract term. It's a placeholder term for a high. Do you like high value man better? Let's just HVM instead of alpha. It's the same friggin' thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So we need that as a point of reference so we can talk about bigger dynamics. A higher value guy. Why do women want a high value guy? Okay. What constitutes a high value guy?
We need a constant so that we can go into more complex.
You know why
discussion.
we use high value guy? Because everybody's uncomfortable saying alpha male, which we've been using for God knows how long. Right. So when people say there's no such thing as an alpha male, but when I start talking about, oh, there's no such thing as an alpha female. Oh, what are you talking about? I'm an alpha female. I own my own business and I went to school and blah, blah, blah.
Stupid.
I'm willing to say, okay, if you want to use that as a frame of reference, that's fine, but you're wrong about the terminology. And we can talk about that too. But we do need that as an abstract term to talk. Okay, fine. Same thing that's going on here. What she wants to do is reframe this because she thinks it debunks the premise that a woman's sexual past should matter to a guy. That's why. How do I get rid of that? Well, your terminology is wrong.
Yeah.
She's hit all these ways to sort of reframe the argument so that you can say, just dismiss everything he has to say. That's all it really comes down to. Like, what was it? And then at the end of that little section, she's like, that's just his personal prejudice. That's what they want to say. Oh, he's this old religious guy who thinks in old terms, and we're not like that anymore. He's just being judgmental. Yes. And by the way, that is the number. If you look at I looked this up. If you look at the usage, like, you know how Google has term usage, and they'll say like from like 1990 to 2021 or 22 or something like that. Yeah. If you look up red pill, you'll see where it spikes for that, or alpha or whatever. Yeah. If you put in judgmental and you look at where it hits, like at different, like this is in literature, this is in media, this is in movies and music, and just the usage of it that is searched for on Google, you'll see that it goes off the chart right around the late 90s, right there, because that is the idea is that if you have these conversations, this whole show right here, you're just being judgmental. Yeah. You're being judgy. And you guys are old and you look like you're searching for, metal with a metal detector on the beach. And you're, let's say you have a greasy ponytail, and that they don't listen to these guys anymore because they're just judgmental.
Not only that, but now you have a bunch of convenient shaming language as well. Like, I can't tell you how many girls on Twitter, TikTok, etc., just call us incels, which is like hilarious to me because it's like, all right, cool. You guys want to call us involuntary?
That's another term. Look that one up on Google and see when that spiked.
Like, well, number one, that's not true. But if you guys do want to call us incel, it's fine. But let's assume we were virgins and we didn't get girls or whatever. We're still saying facts. If I'm a virgin or not, and I say the sky's blue, does not change the fact.
Doesn't change those data sets that we just showed.
Doesn't change what we're showing. So it's like, regardless of, let's say we are incels, it doesn't take away from the argument whatsoever. Because if I say 1 + 1 is 2, whether I'm a genius or I'm an idiot, it does not change the fact that 1 + 1 is fucking 2. And they want to sit here and just deflect and be like, well, let's attack the person personally and make like, it's ridiculous how anything that represses female sexuality or paints an unfavorable light on it, that limits their ability to act like hoes, is almost always gonna be met with some kind of shaming language. It's like fucking clockwork, bro. After talking to like thousands of women, it's like a knee-jerk reaction. The doctor hits you with the fucking thing on your knee like this, like oh shit, oh shit. It's just automatic. Yeah, girls that have higher body counts, probably not a good bet for a relationship or a marriage. Oh, you're toxic. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what, man? I really don't want to wife up a hoe. Oh, you're a misogynist. You know what, man? I'm not really feeling this girl, taking her serious, man. I heard that she banged a couple guys on the team or whatever. Like, oh, you know what I'm saying? It's like insecure. Like it's like small dick energy. It's like automatic triggers.
You're threatened by a strong woman.
But if a woman says, well, we don't want no small dicks over here, or well, I don't want no guy that's broke, or it's like, or I want a guy that's tall, or whatever the fuck. No, it's not like guys are like, insecure. You know what I'm saying? Or we're like, you stupid bimbo. Like, no, guys are just like, okay, we accept objective reality. You know what I'm saying? We accept reality for how it is. This is how women may select. But women have a serious point of issue when men have preferences. It's ridiculous to me, and they always meet it with some kind of shaming language. And we'll go to
I gotta do this because we talked about this before. This is a perfect place to insert this. When you were on Adam Sosnick's show and you were on there with those two, you were on there too with those two girls that were on there, and you started talking about pretty some tame stuff compared to like what you go into here. They're like, what was your childhood like? What was your who hurt
Chris,
you?
your mic is muted, by the way.
What was it? What was the girls? What was that girl? Have you ever been in love, Myron? Like that
Who
kind of
hurt you, Myron?
Who hurt you, Myron? I'm like, where the fuck?
Where's your mother?
And to your credit, the first thing out of your mouth was like, what are we? What am I on the couch?
Yeah.
You know?
I was about to start lying down like, oh yeah, let me tell you all my problems. Yeah, man, I was hurt like 10 years ago, bro. Shit sucks. It's like
when that happened, I thought about this and I go, how many like that is like the standard default reflex of women when they don't know, they know they can't hit you stats wise, they can't shame you for anything, but they want to presume that there has to be something wrong with you, very, very wrong with you.
Are you well?
Yeah, are you well? Yeah. What was your parent? I was like, oh, I love this. When she's like, what were you, are your parents still together? Like, who raised you? Was your dad? Did your dad beat you when you were a kid? And you're like, oh, I had a great. My parents were great. I come from a Muslim family. We were really tight. You were just like, I just saw them recently.
And not only that, I love it when they say, who taught you this? Why are you like this? You know what I tell them? My fucking mom taught me this shit, you dumb bitch. Like, yo, my mom is the one that warned me about like hypergamy, about women in the West in general. My mom was the first one to tell me, do not marry these women. Don't take them serious. She ain't never gonna cook and clean for you. She's never gonna take care of you. She's gonna divorce you, take your money. And she was telling me this shit when I was like 10. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? She comes from a Muslim background. She only had been with my dad in Sudan. You know what I'm saying? Like if you commit adultery there, it's done, baby. You get stoned. So she comes from a background where female promiscuity was punished and shamed to a significant degree. So when we came here, like my mom had never seen gay people or women on women. She had never seen this stuff in Sudan until she came over here. It's like stuff they knew kind of existed in the West, but she didn't see it with her own two eyes until she moved here with my dad. So she was very like, hey, you need to be careful with these women, everything else like that. So I love it when women tell me, you have a mother who taught you this. Why are you like this? And I was like, yeah, my mom is the one that taught me this, because they don't expect it.
They presume that they presume to be a psychotherapist. They presume to be a psychologist.
You know what's funny? They do come with this rhetoric, and it's funny because they'll say, oh, you must be hurt. You're angry. Somebody hurt you. And it's like, we're happy. We know the truth. We're living life. We have a great lifestyle, great people around us, great friends.
We figured out how to leverage
great allies. And it's like, yo, you're upset because you keep failing in your relationship. You keep getting hurt. We're fine. You try to put that on us. And it's like, yo, like, if you want to say the truth and you said the truth, then guess what? Now you're free. Versus, this is what I think it is, and I keep getting hurt. It's like a spiral. But
and I want to say this too, Rolo, because you brought up a great point with the because this happens a lot, whether it was on that show where, hey, can you tell me like what was it like growing up, blah blah blah, or girls use the shaming language like, hey, who hurt you, whatever it is. What I've come to realize is this: women are rarely, if ever, challenged on their belief system. So when you go ahead and you tell them, promiscuity affects women a lot different than it affects men, they're not. It's like you're speaking fucking Chinese to them. They're like, what? What are you saying? And like I said before, again,
and they don't even
reaction,
know. And they don't even know where they came to that. They don't know how they even came to what's called their epistemology, right? They don't know how they came to their belief set. And that was my number one question whenever the girls are here. It's like, how did you come to believe that men and women should be like equal partners and da 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 da? Okay, but first of all, that's bullshit. But second of all, it's like, how did you come to the presumption that men and women should be equal partners, right? That's what I'm curious about, because I hear the same language being repeated and parroted back over and over and over again. So when people say, oh, those girls in Miami, they're just low quality girls, the same response and the same reactions are the same one you're going to get from the girl in the Midwest. That's the same default presumption that they should, like, a woman has this supernatural empathy that they should know, well, what was your family like? The reason why you're fucked up is because your dad or your mom or your some girl hurt you in high school and blah blah blah. And the problem is guys fall into that trap. They go, well, we've all been hurt. Oh, really? Because the moment you even have one concession to that, that's when that facade comes down. And I think too many guys presume that women have some sort of like natural psychic connection or empathy that they can sort of like read your mind, something like that. And so they default to really Freudian psychology, even though they probably would hate Sigmund Freud, but they default to that.
Despite popular, and I was thinking about this the other night.
Why do we believe them? Why do we believe them?
I was thinking about this shit while I was in bed the other day. Pause. And pause. I want to say this because everyone goes around and says that women are extremely empathetic, etc. I argue that they're not empathetic whatsoever. I argue that they're less empathetic than men are, because the thing is with a man, you have to be able to sympathize with the female experience because if you want to
Empathy and
get good with
sympathy are
girls,
two different things.
sorry, empathy. I'm sorry. You have to be able to understand female psychology to get women in the first place. But women, on the other hand, do not understand male psychology, even though they think they do, because we bring them on the show all the time and they don't even know what men want. They
think they got you.
They think they got you, but they really don't fucking know and or understand the male experience whatsoever. So it's like, and I don't blame them for it because they have the privilege of being chased by men. They have the privilege. So it's like, I don't have to care or know what the fuck men want because they come to me.
Why should I? Right?
Why should I?
Yeah. So and just long story short, the reason why I was bringing this up is because I get a lot of guys who do exactly the same thing. They'll say, "Why do women suddenly think that they're like psychologists all of a sudden?" Right? You have no background in psychology, or they'll fall into the same situation you're in. Like some woman doesn't have a counter argument for anything that you're saying, like your stats, and you're speaking the language of